These are the powers of the governors of the
We
Federal
are
Reserve.
the governor. We are the investors of the United States, brother.
No.
The Constitution starts off with we the people. We are the investors. You just said the banks go to investors. We're the investors.
So that doesn't make you a member of the board of governors. Are you talking about private investors or private?
If I'm a private investor, then don't I govern my own body? What are you talking about?
Reserve.
Yes, you do, brother. That's your. That's your. You don't even know about. You don't even know how the Federal Reserve works. So why would we ask you your thoughts on the Federal Reserve?
But are you so you saying when you turned 18, you became a governor on the board of the Federal Reserve?
Yes.
Did you guys know that you never have to pay back your bills legally? It's in the law books. You never have to pay it back. These banks that charge you interest rates on mortgages or credit cards, did you guys know that you are not legally liable to paying anything back? Did you know that? Well, I didn't know that. And I was actually taught this by the following young brother that is positioned to the left of Charleston White right here. This brother's name goes by It Doesn't Matter. Nevertheless, this young dazzling, when I say dazzling, you know, he's got all of the chains, he's got the material goods of I guess, wealth. He's created content in order to market this idea of how to think about paying back your bills, and then explains in his own way why you legally should not be able to, kind of on the backs of this sovereign citizen bullshit. But he went up to a Young Brothers podcast, and shout out to Pocket Watching with JT, who's a certified financial planner. And these guys had an argument. They had a debate. So I wanted to go through this. And by the way, this content is over a year old, but the debate is so damn good, so damn funny, so damn entertaining that we must go through it right now. All right. There's a lot of people out there that are purporting a lot of different things. And if they're confident, if they speak fast and kind of these extravagant words, it can be easy to get scammed. It can be easy to believe them, at least for people without a cardinal knowledge and or understanding of the things being presented to them. It could be easy, but people get scammed every day, B. So we must go over this content to determine who's right and who's wrong. But before we get started with the debate, let's go over a little bit of information into the brothers' ideologies.
I'll say this, and it's obviously overlooking at it. I got into law about 3 years ago. Oh, yeah. I was trapping at the time.
Okay.
I trying to find my way. I just doing different contract jobs, working state to state before I left. And me personally, I heard this right now their podcast called Urgent Leisure, but before it was called Truck and Hustle. They had a guy on there named Umar. He's the founder of Zero Bullets. I heard him when he said there's no law that says you had to pay bills. That was my first introduction to being attracted to law. All right, what you mean by that? And I started getting into like the Debt Collection Practice Act, you know, so I started getting into the Bill of Exchange Act. I started getting into the Federal Reserve Act. I started getting into the Constitution.
Okay.
I started seeing like, damn, wait a minute, I done got pulled over for not having no license, not having no tag on my car. And you mean to tell me all I need to do was know some overstanding of rights and I could enforce those rights and I didn't have to be in that situation? You know what I'm saying? We don't overstand that because we so busy working, we so busy. And I overstand like, damn, we got people still paying rent.
When a brother can use the terminology overstand 3 times in 15 seconds, you got to think to yourself, damn it, I'm about to be scammed. Let's proceed.
You're not supposed to be paying for it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my students don't pay no rent. They done endorse their whole lease. All our bills are prepaid. So when they send us a $150 bill from T-Mobile, this goes with any bill, y'all. This goes with your rent. This goes with your mortgage.
Okay.
Let's get these niggas that put out there. This shit out.
It definitely work. Yeah, I got students that don't pay no rent, that don't pay no credit cards, they don't pay no mortgage, they don't pay no car notes. No.
He's got students that don't pay on anything. Students, which means that they signed up to his school. There was a financial exchange, money for his information and knowledge, which this content creator has a particular issue with. Now, I never want to hate on a young brother that's trying to sell product, whether or not I agree with it or not. But if you're doing so in a manner that is leading people down a wrong path, then it deserves content of feedback and criticism, if not direct correction. Pocket Watching with JT gave him direct correction. Let's get into that debate right now.
Okay, so first and foremost, bro, let me ask you a question, because you talk about college a lot and this and that. Let me ask you a question. When you was in college, when you was in business, all right, did y'all ever go over interest?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right, so cool. So who did they tell you owes interest?
In what sense?
In any transaction. If a consumer enters a transaction with the bank, who owes interest?
Yeah.
All right. So it depends on the situation. Let me explain.
Yep.
No, let me explain. There's two different ways you can look at it. If I am a depositor at a bank, and a bank is saying, hey, if you deposit in this money market account or this high yield savings account, you're going to get 4% interest a year.
Yep.
I am due to be paid that interest. But there's another type of transaction.
Yeah.
What if I am a borrower? I get a loan from the bank. I am then having to pay interest to the bank. So it depends on the type of transaction, Shug.
This is the difference between the information that I talk about and the information that you came up on. Okay,
please.
All right, so I'm
explain.
About to. I gotta explain, but the thing is, it's difficult to explain to somebody that thinks they're here when their information is really right here, bro.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so let me go. So I'm gonna pull out my phone as everybody should go. I want everybody to go to 12 USC 1431. All right, so Billy John Ray goes down to the dealership. He submits an application.
Sure.
All right, remember, we're on 12 USC 1431, family. All right, powers and duties of the banks. One thing you will learn at HCA Hood Consumer Advisor, all right, that the banks are the borrowers. The banks are the borrowers, family. The consumer is never the borrower. If you listen to professional people that went to an institution, okay, and got indoctrinated with a degree, and if they're telling you you owe the bank, they are nothing more than really incompetent servants of the system.
Okay.
All right, of the uninformed system, I should add. But let me explain, okay? Because every application that comes from a consumer, the consumer has a right to credit. We don't enter loans, family. There's no law that says the consumer is the one that's getting the loan. What the problem is, when John Henry Doe goes down to the dealership, he's allowing the dealership to basically tell him how the business is going to go. Remember, John Henry Doe is the owner of that application that he submit. Y'all got to hear the verbiage. Submit. I'm submitting an application. I am applying my, I'm applying my estate's information. I'm providing my government's name.
Okay.
Y'all got to remember, the government, all right, is obligated to pay all debts. This is 18 USC 8. All right, I'm going to try to slow it down, because we're just so used to talking about this. Like, I remember that I'm talking to people that don't know nothing I'm talking about.
Please
so
slow
I apologize.
it down. Thank you.
Okay. The application, application is the security collateral, family. I'm going to say it again. The application that we submit to financial institutions,
God bless them,
is the money. I'm going to say it one more time. The application that we submit, y'all got to remember, what do we put on applications? We put our business name, our government name, first name, last name. We put our social, and we sign the bottom, meaning authorizing it, because we're the representative for that government name. That government name is due credits. When we submit those to financial institutions, and I can back all this up. We can go to Federal Reserve, second 60. The thing is, I'm gonna read everything that I'm saying right now. You're not gonna be able to do that. You can't just keep saying, "Hey, I went to school. Hey, I got a degree in this. I got a degree."
He will read it.
See the law that backs what you're saying.
I have it right here.
All right, we got it. So let me read it.
Go right ahead and read it.
Obviously, he's misinterpreting the things that he is reading, as what some of the sovereign citizens tend to do when reciting bylaws in certain situations back. Nevertheless, though, I can only think if this brother younger in his life was presented with the right way of living or the right information, he would be a killer, right? Because this is a nonconformist, business thinking and oriented man. He just has his information completely wrong. He wants to get out the streets. He wants to stop doing the trapping, and he started to read one or two books, but he doesn't have a fundamental understanding of how the banking institution for what he's educating people on works. And if he's going to be selling products about it, then he should understand it. Now, there also seems to be a hate on higher level institution and degrees. And listen, I tell you guys all day, even though I got a couple of degrees, the most educated doesn't mean the most smart and or intelligent or knows more about the world. However, these financial topics and how business and banks work is a lot different. Nevertheless, I'll let JT cook.
All right. So remember, y'all, 12 USC 1431. Let's read. Make sure that everybody's there.
Do you know what this is speaking about?
You didn't even know what it was speaking about. So we don't want to hear that. You didn't even know. You didn't even know what this. You didn't even know what this was.
It's Federal Home Loan Bank.
Okay. So what are you talking about? So we're talking about houses, right? Let's talk about
Federal
houses.
Home Loan
So
Bank.
you remember? Hold on. Let me build. Because you
let him build, JT.
You can't do this with high stuff. You'll go to jail. You said that. So let's talk about it. Thank you for clearing that. All right. This is for your houses, family. Who's paying interest to their banks? I bet the brother is telling y'all to pay interest to the bank. But let's read 12, and this is Title 12. That's the Banking Act, okay? 1431 U.S. Code, okay? It says banks, powers, and duties. Meaning these are the duties of the banks, family. This is the roles of the banks. Let's read. Number one role, family, is to borrow. All right, so pause. All right, my brother, this is a question for you, brother. What are they borrowing?
They are borrowing money from people and
issuing bonds. Hold on.
They are borrowing money from people and institutions.
Okay, what money?
A bond.
Right. What money? We can get deeper, family. Yeah. What money? From
the
who?
Money but they're also giving money for people to borrow. There's two steps. There's two steps to this process that he's not understanding.
It's an investment from the people and the
Damn, there we go. Let's make some room.
The money that they turn in as an investment. They give the money to the bank. The bank issues a bond, meaning I owe you this money and I'm going to pay you interest.
Keep reading, brother.
Applying for a loan.
Keep reading. We're not talking about loans, brother. We're talking about consumer credit transaction. You said loan. I never said loan. That's the difference, my brother. This is a consumer credit transaction. That's not a loan.
This is when you. Oh my God. This is when you give a government or a bank money.
We have government names. We are part of the Social Security Administrative Office, my brother. You have credits. We are due credits. You just said it for me. Thank you. You just said the banks borrow money. The banks borrow money. You just said it for us.
Yeah. Do you know what a bond is?
Do I know what a bond is? Yes, I know what a bond is. Do you?
Explain, yes.
I don't want to explain.
No problem, brother. I will. No problem.
Let me finish.
I'll explain what a bond is.
Let me finish reading it.
A bond is an investment. When you give money to a corporation or a government, that is a loan to the bank. The bank or the government then pays you back money with interest. That is a bond. You can invest in a bond through the stock market. You can buy bonds. So this particular section of the U.S. Code is talking about how federal home loan banks can raise money in order to lend money out to consumers so that they can make a mortgage. They have to pay back the people who gave the bank money.
Yeah.
How do they pay back the people who gave the bank money? Through the mortgage payments of the people who bought the house.
Yeah.
That's what this is referring to. Go right ahead.
All right. So that's not what it's referring to, but let me read. It says borrowing money, issuing bonds in the bid. It says each federal home loan bank shall have powers subject to rules and regulations prescribed by the directors to borrow and to give security, therefore, and to pay interest. All right, so
I'm gonna break
the
it down
money that they borrow, my friend, is the applications from the consumers, which is the security collateral. Let me read, because you ain't read no Federal Reserve Section 16. You ain't read no Federal Reserve Section 16, because that's where we going next. Let me build, family.
Any of those things.
Let me build. It's called reference. It's called reference.
You gotta listen. You gotta listen, brother. What you just said isn't here.
Bro, you brought me here to ask me the question so I can explain. I didn't come here so you can tell me about finance.
That's the problem.
Reading from this. You weren't reading from this.
I'm reading from this. What are you talking about?
You added a bunch of stuff that's not there.
I said I'm about to go to Federal Reserve Section 16 so I can explain the application.
But none of the application stuff you said was here. That's a separate thing.
So
meaning it's whole separate dialogue about applications, right?
So go to the other thing. Because
how do we get to the bond? Do you think we get to the bond without the application?
Brother, yes.
Do we get to the bond? Exactly. So we need the application first, right?
Here's the thing. I just want to give the young brother a noogie, like, get over here. Get over here. Get off his platform. You're embarrassing yourself. And then I want to sit him down in a whiteboard and to visually show an example of what exactly JT is talking about. Matter of fact, let me bring out the whiteboard. All right, now bear with me as I set this up. I don't think I've ever done a whiteboard on this platform. Nevertheless, though, all right? And I don't have a stylus. I'm doing this with a mouse, okay? So let's say in the middle right here, you have your financial institution. All right, let me go back over here. And that financial institution we all might colloquially know as a damn bank, right? Boom. So you have the bank. Now, what the young brother is failing to understand here is that there's a couple of sides of this process. There's the input side as well as the output side when it comes from a business perspective of a bank. Let's take a look at the output side first. So when I say output side, okay? And so let's draw an arrow right here, right? Let's say, matter of fact, let's draw it both ways, okay? So on the output side, or the consumers to the bank, you know, let's draw a little stick figure to represent you and me. So let's say I go to a bank, and I'm going to a bank because I want to make a purchase of a damn house, okay? So you got your house, and let's say that the house is worth, or excuse me, it is costing, let's say, $450,000, right? So as a consumer, I don't have $450,000. So what is it that I do? Instead is that I go to the bank and I want what? Class, a mortgage, all right? Now on this mortgage, you might have like a 6.5% interest rate. So what the young brother is saying is that as of that bylaw that he brought up, you don't have to pay this back because you could utilize your application as leverage and the bank has a duty. So all of that application leverage stuff makes no sense. I don't even know where he's going with that. But this is the stage of the process that he's utilizing to try to interpret the law, which is incorrect. What JT is trying to explain here is that there's another process here. And it's why banks are multi-billion-dollar institutions, because they have access to do things like we're about to go over. So let me draw another line, because this is sort of a input to the process. So what JT is saying is that how do these banks make money in order to give out mortgages for your $450,000 house that you want so much? Well, there's a bunch of different ways, but one of those ways is for bonds, which you can get by going to the stock market, which is debt issued from banks from the stock market. So the bank is saying, hey, listen, we need money. Give us $100,000. And then in a couple of years, when this bond matures, we're going to give you $103,000. All right. We're going to give you that extra $3,000 because you gave us that money. Now, in that time, that money we had given to someone else, and we're making 6.5%. You made 3%, hence why you got the $3,000, but we're making 6.5%. All right, on $450,000 as a rough example. And this is just one of the many ways that banks can make money. Let's continue on the equation here. So let's say that this bond was at like a 3% rate. And then, of course, you got to draw another stick figure on this side, because who is creating these bonds? Well, it's more than just people, but you as a person can do it as well. You can go on the stock market to get these types of bonds. And again, this is not the only way that banks gain money, right? Like, it's also with your deposits within your account, right? You can open up a high yield savings account. That's how they're going to give you like 4 or 5% back on the money that you're putting into the high yield savings account, because the bank is just not having that money just sit into the account. According to you, you open up your banking account and there's numbers that are there. But if everyone in the world tried to pull out their money at one time, the banks would go bankrupt. Because although you see a digital number in your banking account, the bank is investing your money or lending your money. The error in this brother's way is that he's taking that law and he's applying it to this side of the equation, which is why he's so confused. But the law is actually talking about this side of the equation. The major problem here is not that he misinterprets this entire equation, but it's the fact that he's teaching people this. He's teaching people not to pay back their ish. I'd like to think that he truly doesn't understand this and he's going into this in good faith, however, uneducated to the reality of his situation. But then there's the other equation, or excuse me, possibility that he does all know this and he's just trying to scam, which is why I continue to push the sponsor of today's video, Aura. Quick emergency meeting. I was recently searching for my name online and found way too much personal information, which brought me down this weird rabbit hole of how that could have happened, and found out that there's companies out there called data brokers that will sell your data to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. And it's a nasty, disgusting feeling knowing that there's bad actors out there selling my information, selling your information for profit. But that's why I'm recommending today's sponsor, Aura. Now, I use Aura to automatically remove my information from these sites and keep my information off, but they do other things as well, such as bank fraud and identity theft alerts, VPN access. But guys, utilize my link down in the description box down below for a 14-day trial. At least see if you've been compromised. Privacy is king in this day and age, and you should know if your information is out there. So again, utilize my link, aura.com/MTR, in the description box down below to try 2 weeks free. That's way more than enough time to see if your personal data has been exposed. Go now. As long as your personal information is out there, you leaving it open to scammers. All right, go over and protect yourselves, because I have. Let's continue to listen.
How do you get to a bond application, right?
Corporation.
Application, right? How do you get to the bond? How do you get to the bond? Through application. Through application. You have to have an application to open up a bond, sir. Do you know how Do you know how bonds work? You don't just poof bond. Who applied for the bond, brother? Exactly, man. You need to take them degrees down there.
Bond is created.
From who?
When you borrow money from people.
Man, you just said, man, what? You just said the banks borrow money from the people. What are you talking about?
So
that's what are you hearing your own self?
I know, brother. I got students that endorse deals. You have students that pay.
Created.
We're not here to hear you. We're not here to hear you.
And that's really the problem with this entire conversation as well, is that he's not coming up on here to listen to another man's perspective, but rather he's coming up here to prove the man wrong. And I mean, I get it, because it's putting money into his pocket. But whether or not it's putting money into your pocket, and this is some of the issues that I see with these young brothers, is that they allow their ego to get so caught up with the things that they've learned or the tricks that they've amassed in lieu of the actual reality of the truth or being accurate in a situation.
Borrows money.
We're not here to hear you. We're here to hear me explain what I do. We're here to it.
You made no point here.
We're here to hear me explain what I do. We're not here to hear you.
Move on to your next point.
Okay,
let's hear the application
on the same point. We're not here to hear you. We heard you for 30 minutes.
Okay.
We're not here to hear you. All right, so let's keep going. So it says, I'm still at 12 USC 1431, family, because we got to be literal, because guys like this. All right, we're going to go to Federal Reserve Section 16 next. Federal Reserve Section 16 next. I just wanted to read the part where it says the banks are the borrowers and they're the ones pay interest. All right?
When they issue a bond, yes.
When do they issue bonds? When they borrow money, right? You just said it.
When they borrow money from the.
So when do they borrow money? When do they borrow money, brother?
When they need money.
We say when.
When do they borrow money?
All the time.
When they need to raise money to do business.
Where are you reading that from?
That is common knowledge.
Where? If it's common, I should be able to read it, right? What law says that that's what they do?
It's not a law.
What law? It's a security
law. What law back? If I sue Bank of America and they try to pull that on me, I'm gonna pull this. What are they gonna pull on me? Oh, it's general information, sir. What? Do you hear yourself?
A bond is debt to the issuer.
Who's the issuer, my friend?
Either a government or a corporation.
All right, so who is the issuee? Who is the payee? If there's a payer, who's the payee?
The person who's making the investment. It can either be an individual,
the consumer. The consumer is investing their applications, my friend. I know you're learning something. I know brothers like you don't want to learn, my friend. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it.
Mixed up.
You don't want to hear it.
When a person applies for a home loan,
he's getting. Look at.
Is that the application you're talking about?
You don't know what's going on, brother. Yes, application without no home loan. How you gonna get there without no application, bro? Don't it take a person to walk in and apply before you get to that point? You we laughing at you. We laughing at you right now.
Be clear. I want to make sure I'm on the same page.
Okay. Yes.
When a person goes to a lending institution for a home loan,
yes,
you believe the money that
I don't believe I know. Yes,
to buy the home is the bond.
I'll tell you how, brother. It's from the application. The person, this is what people like you and people like 99% on this stream right now, when they go to the dealership or whatever, it doesn't matter. They don't know that their application is a security collateral. They give that to the person. The bank, what you think the banks do with the application, brother? You don't even know it. You over the laughing. I'm trying to teach you something. All right, the banks take that application to the Federal Reserve System, my brother. All right, yes, they go to the Federal Reserve System, and that's where the Federal Reserve notes come from. The banks don't have no money. They're borrowers. I know it's funny. You really looking nervous right now. You're not even laughing because it's funny. You laughing because you're nervous right now.
You
all right, yeah, but pull up that Federal Reserve Section 16. Go ahead, pull that up.
I will. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So
no, we're not on the same page. We're not here on your page. We're not here. We on your page, but we're not on your page.
I'm sure. So just to be clear,
yes.
When a person goes to get a loan,
can I go to the
application?
Can I go to the law and show you?
You believe that the application?
Can I go to the law and show you? Can I go to the law and show you?
He thinks it's collateral.
Go right ahead.
Go. No, you got the platform. Go to Federal Reserve Section 16.
All right, Federal Reserve.
And I know you ain't never read this before. Not never in your life. Federal Reserve Section 16, Part 2. Make sure you at the government website. You're going to learn something today.
This brother has the patience of Job. Shout out to Parker watching with JT. I don't know how you kept up with this for this long, my brother.
Absolutely. I'm sure I will.
Go ahead.
I know.
All right.
Okay.
Is this what you're looking for?
Yep. Federal Reserve Section 16. Bam. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start reading. Okay. Hold on. Let me get there. All right, bam. And please, brother, let me break this down. Remember, you ain't never read this before.
No, I've read it before, but go right ahead.
You ain't never read this before. Stop lying.
I've read it before. Go right ahead.
You ain't never read it before. Stop.
Okay.
If you did, you would be utilizing it. Who reads something and don't utilize it? That sounds like information junkie to me. That sounds like information junkie to me. But let me read. Section 16. It says notes issues.
Okay.
All right. Because how do we get notes, my friend? You can't just walk somewhere and get notes, right? They have to get pulled from somewhere, right? If the banks are the borrowers, who got the money? You said it yourself, brother. The people. Thank you for making that, man, because that's the hardest connection to make with people. But thank you for saying it, because you're the one that said that the banks pay, but the banks borrow from the people. But people like you don't
borrow from the bank.
Hold on. People like you y'all don't know how to go deeper. Y'all don't know how to go further. That's the only part y'all know. But let me come in with some information and tell you what the money is. The money is the application, brother. So let's read Federal Reserve.
The money is the application. Got it.
Yes, the security collateral. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Keep talking over me. All right, so it says Federal Reserve notes to be issued at the discretion of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve. Pause. Why are we a part of the Board of Governors? Why? Because we have government entities.
You're not a part of the Board.
Hey, hold on. You never read it. We're not here listening to you.
You're not a part of the Board of Governors.
We're not here to listen to you. We're not here to listen to you, brother.
You're not a part of the Board of Governors. I'm not a part of the Board of Governors.
I'll tell you why. You don't know you are. I am.
You're not.
You're not. You pay the bills. I accept them. That's the difference between me and you. Let me build, brother. We're not here to hear you. We're not here to hear you. Remember. All right, so it says Federal Reserve notes to be issued at discretion of the Board of Governors. What makes the Board of Governors, family? All right.
In the bank, in the business.
Institution that deals with the Federal Reserve System. Y'all got to remember, we have estates. Brother, do you know what an estate is? Do you believe we all have estates? That's a question.
An estate?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Do you know the definition of an estate, my brother?
Yes, I do.
All right, extension of land, correct? We can agree on that, right?
Well, there's multiple.
Okay, it's multiple.
Okay, so let's be clear. Estate in real estate is land. In finance, your estate is considered the total amount of assets that you have, both real property and personal property, before it is distributed through a will or a trust.
Okay. Thank you for saying that and reading that. So tell me this. All right. So for us to know how much is in that estate, it has to be associated with some type of number, right? Some type of identification number, right?
No, I think you're incorrect. Your estate is the assets that you have.
So what name? What name
is all the stuff that he has?
What name is all of that attached to? Isn't it attached to a social security number?
Not necessarily.
No. So would you mean to tell me those assets are attached to no numbers?
No, I'm saying not necessarily. All assets are not necessarily attached to a social security.
How? Tell me an asset that's not.
Okay. So let's give an example.
Financial professor, tell me one that's not.
Yeah. If I walk into a store and I buy a watch with cash, that watch is my asset. Is that correct?
Did they give you some type of? Well, that's a good point.
I know it's a good point. It's a good point. That's why I said it.
I was saying more of like consumer credit transactions. My bad.
So just to be clear, not all assets are tied to a social security number, correct?
Okay, we're gonna say all security assets.
Okay, but not all assets are connected to a security number.
You're right. You got that one. Let me rephrase. All security assets.
This is so good.
Because that's the only thing that really matters. Security assets. So all security assets is attached to some sequence of number, rather it's a trust number, rather it's a social, rather it's a EIN, it's some type of sequences of number which those assets are attached to. All right, so let me read because again, brother, even though you don't agree with what I'm reading, just let me read and let me kind of piece it together. All right, it says Federal Reserve notes to be issued at the discretion of the Board of Governors. Remember, we have government entities that we control, which is our all caps name that we give every time somebody asks us, hey, what's your credit? All right, when somebody asks us, what is your credit? All right, y'all family, there is no law that says anything about a credit score. So that's basically lets you know credit scores are not real. Wow. Okay, they're only
just real quick. Let me put this off the screen just so we can have this conversation when he's talking about when he says Board of Governors. I'm just not sure exactly why he keeps. So essentially within this whole equation, the bank, which is a financial business institution, there's a board of governors, or rather a board of directors that oversee the bank itself. The consumers are not in the board of governors or directors. These board of governors are hired by the bank for operational oversight, policy decisions, right? And typically the CEO of the bank reports into the board of directors. That's why oftentimes you'll see from these major companies or organizations that the board of directors, the board of governors voted the CEO out and they're now on a new CEO hunt. I don't know why he thinks that the consumers, right, whether it be those that are giving the bank money, whether it be in cash deposits or bonds, for example, or the consumers that are getting mortgages from banks in exchange for paying the banks back later, right? I don't know why he thinks those are on the board of governors, but nevertheless, let's keep on listening.
For uninformed people to control uninformed people. Okay, so when a company asks you, we need to run your credit, they're basically asking for your, they're asking for your government entity's line of credit. Okay, I can see that you pulled up the Board of Governors, family. We're talking about the private board members, family. They're not going to show you the private; they're going to show you the public board members. Thank you.
Where's the law with the private ones?
The private ones. Where's the law? Where's the law? Well, it says Federal Reserve notes to be issued at discretion of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System for the purpose.
And here they are.
All right. So you mean to tell me they're the Board of Governors of my estate?
You don't have a Board of Governors of your personal estate, sir.
So do you know? Says who?
What do you mean says who?
Every estate has an executor, my friend. Do you know how?
Not a board of governors. You know, an executor and a board of governors is two different things. Correct?
I understand. It's a different hat. Is why.
Okay, so you were specifically
we
talking
are
about
financial
board of governors of the Federal Reserve, correct?
Yes. I'm saying that we're all. I'm saying no. That's the public board of governors. I'm saying that we're all We all have our own individual bank.
That's factually incorrect.
That's not
That's
true.
factually facts, because who says it's not?
C-1431.
Go ahead and say it.
That spoke about federal home loan banks.
Okay.
Are you saying that all of us are federal home loan banks?
What actually he meant, I got that wrong just a little bit. So he's saying this is the public board of governors, right? This is on the Federal Reserve's website. This is the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. And somehow he's also saying private board of governors. And then that's where I am right, because he's saying that we are the board of governors within our own estates. But what the law is referring to is the board of governors within the banks themselves. So when JT asked, do you think that we are the board of governors? And the brother was saying yes. And JT's like, no, we're not. And the brother's asking him to prove it.
All banks that deal with us are federal home loan banks. That's what I'm saying.
That's factually incorrect.
That's factually facts, because who says it's not?
Because every bank does not issue home loans, sir.
So which banks that are nationally don't give home loan banks?
No, you just said nationally. Why did you add that qualifying statement of national?
It's a national bank, meaning
Because
Bank of
you said
America, all your
banks.
major banks.
Before you said all banks, didn't you?
All right, let me read Federal Reserve.
No, hold on. Let's build on that for a second, because I don't think I overstand that yet.
I'm saying all banks.
Said all banks,
Not
are
overstand.
federal home loan banks, and I said to you, not all banks issue home loans. Is that correct?
You don't even know where the money is coming from the bank. Why would I ask you?
Question. Are all banks home loan banks?
I'm gonna say all banks is dealing with federal home loan banks. Yes. So it says Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System for the purpose of making advances to the Federal Reserve banks through the Federal Reserve agent has as hereinafter set forth and for no other purpose are hereby authorized. It said the said notes shall be obligations of the United States. So who is the United States when I'm doing business with Bank of America?
Sir, once again, I think you forgot what you said earlier. These are the powers of the governors of the Federal Reserve.
We are the governor. We are the investors of the United States, brother.
No.
The Constitution starts off with we the people. We are the investors. You just said the banks go to investors. We're the investors.
Wow.
So
that doesn't make you a member of the Board of Governors.
Says who? You pay bills.
It's right here. They list the Board of Governors.
My brother.
They list the Board of Governors right here. Are you saying that this is incorrect?
My brother, I'm saying everything you saying just needs to stop and just
is this incorrect?
No, it's correct. You're stopping me and you're reading it wrong.
When did you become a member of the Board of Governors of the Federal
When
Reserve?
I turned 18 years old.
Why aren't you listed here?
Because why would they list private investors? Where can you find a private investor?
Hold on, you said private investors. I thought you were talking about private governors. Are you talking about private investors or private?
If I'm a private investor, then don't I govern my own body? What are you talking about?
Reserve.
Yes, you do, brother. That's yours. That's yours. You don't even know about. You don't even know how the Federal Reserve works. So why would we ask you your thoughts on the Federal Reserve?
I do know how the Federal Reserve works. But are you so you saying when you turned 18, you became a governor on the board of the Federal Reserve?
Yes, from 18 to age of 25. So this is what happens from age of 18 to age of 25. I don't need to listen to you. I teach this from the age of 18 to 25, to 18 to 25. We do not come forth and claim our interest, brother, meaning 7 years. So brothers like you say delusional. 7 years dead. 7 years after that, they claim us as naturally dead. Oh, says the K by Act of 1666. Let's go read it.
Okay.
He's so uninformed. He doesn't have enough tools to understand that what he's saying is stupid. This is about as delusional as when I take a look at these videos of these women that say that they are 10s and they got cobwebs for hair, objectively 2s, and they're 5'2", 227 pounds. It is entertaining to me to know that he spent so much time in reading these different things, and then as he reads different things, he's interpreting how he can slide his scammy little paws up into the definition to make it make sense. Because we are the people, then we are the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve when we all turn 18. Therefore, we don't have to pay it back. The hoops that this brother is jumping through is astounding to me.
Let's go read it.
We can absolutely let me ask you this question.
Let's go read it. You ain't got to ask me, Nathan. What's up?
Why would a law from 1666 in the UK have power in the United States?
Because we're still dealing with cesticades, my friend. Those are trusts. You reading the UK version.
Maybe you misheard me. Let me say
I heard you. You're reading the UK version. I heard you. I heard you.
1666.
The Cesticade Act is from
the
here.
United Kingdom have a power in effect in the United States.
Because it does.
How?
All right. Because I'm going to stop the content right there, guys. You can see there's a lot more of this that goes on within it. I'm going to leave a link to the brother JT Pocket Watcher down up in the the description box down below, guys. Make sure you guys go over. He's a certified financial planner as well. You know, he obviously knows what the hell that he is talking about. Listen, this is a major lesson in understanding the information that you're receiving and being able to appropriately utilize that, utilizing correct resources or people teaching it in a knowledge, purpose-driven, and accurate way. This is no different than walking up on the street in Jamaica Ave and then a dude wants to sell you the TV in the brown box. You take the TV home and the brown box is filled with cement bricks. Shout out again for Pocket Watcher for doing the Lord's work here. And I hope that everybody within the content that's still watching the video learned something new here today. Last but not least, guys, give me your questions, comments, concerns down up in the comment box down below. Can you believe the audacity here? Do you understand some of his points? Do you think JT was wrong in some things? Do you think I was wrong in some things? Write it down in the comment box down below. Let's encroach on that conversation and make sure you guys sign up to Aura. Free trial. Why would you not? Get your information off of these websites. You done gave your name, your address, and something else at a birthday party 10 years ago, and they took that information and then sold it to some website that still has your shit up on it. Do what you got to do to remove your information. Link to it down in the description box down below. And I'll see you guys soon. Until next time, YouTube, peace.